I thought I was coming for some color coordinated calendars, and I've come out having a like existential nostalgia emotional moment. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're at the kitchen table. We've got my laptop in front of me because today we are talking calendar blocking. You've probably heard of calendar blocking at this point. I've talked about it a bunch. In fact, I've now been calendar blocking for 4 years. 4 years! And it's still serving me well. However, a lot has changed in that time. And then the other thing that I learned recently when I was having a little peruse of my YouTube analytics, on this channel, the video where I talk about how I tried calendar blocking for a month and then it worked so well I was planning on continuing doing it, is my most viewed video here on this channel. And that video was posted in March 2021, so almost 4 years ago, before I got pregnant, before I had a baby. And so I'm curious as to what baby Hannah was doing. What was baby Hannah's approach to calendar blocking pre-motherhood? Because I still calendar block now, but obviously there are different restraints on my time, and I've been using this system for 4 years now, so how has it changed? So I thought it would be fun for me, and hopefully you, to revisit that old video. I do often find it very uncomfortable watching old videos of myself, but doing it for the science. Is this really science? Not really. But I'm just curious. I'm curious as to how I was doing it back then and what's changed. I mean, a lot has changed, but has the calendar blocking changed? My main prediction is that present me is going to feel very sad about the amount of time baby Hannah had to work with, because I have a lot less work time now with around my parenting responsibilities. And was I even taking Fridays off at that point? Because doing a 4-day work week was something that I started doing before I got pregnant, but was I doing it here? I don't know. I'm going to put my headphones in. We're going to watch this. We're going to talk about how I calendar block then versus now. But before we watch that, I want to thank this video sponsor, Squarespace. So whether you're just starting out in the freelance world or you're a small business owner, Squarespace makes it super easy to create your own website, engage your audience, and sell anything from physical and digital products to courses and even your time, all in one place, all on your terms. I've been using Squarespace for years for all of my websites and various projects that I have created over the years, and I just love it because it is so easy to use, so simple, and you can create really gorgeous websites with your own branding and assets that feels really me and functions and looks the way that I want it to. And we can also make edits and tweak it as we go, and it's really simple and easy to do. And with Squarespace's new design intelligence, it empowers anyone to build a beautiful, personalized website tailored to your needs using AI technology. And with Squarespace Blueprint, you can just answer a few questions and it will take you through a step-by-step guide, hold your hand through creating your own website. There is so much that you can do with Squarespace, whatever your needs may be, whether you have an online store or a service-based business. They have loads of beautiful templates that you can pick from and tons of visual design tools so you can create a really engaging website, and they have tons of effects that are ready to go and plug into any Squarespace template. So if you are somebody who is in need of a website, then head to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and then when you're ready to launch whatever it is that you're creating into the world, then you can go to squarespace.com/morehannah to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The calendar blocking. I am very curious. I'm also excited and nervous. What is this going to reveal about me? I don't know. I tried calendar blocking for a month and was so productive. Okay, so the first part of this video is me just explaining what is calendar blocking and why I started doing it. We don't need to rewatch that bit. All you need to know is that calendar blocking is when you assign specific dates and times to tasks on your to-do list and you treat them like appointments in your calendar. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. And we're just going to dive straight in to Hannah in what was her home office / studio. This was before I even got the studio. This bedroom is now my toddler's bedroom. I have moved out of that room into an external studio space and moved back home to work here. Turned the old office into a kid's room, all since filming this video. Right, what is pre-mum Hannah up to? Let's take a look.
Some people put like their morning and night routines on their calendar, like when they wake up and when they're going to bed. I don't really do that. The only morning thing I put in is working out, because on workout days I start work a bit later because I do not wake up earlier to work out. So let's start by...
I used to work out in the mornings. What was that like? I'm so curious as to like what time that was in the calendar. Like what time did I wake up and start my days, start my workout? I do not have time for that shit in the mornings with the childcare run anymore. Also, this is filmed in March 2021. We may have been in a lockdown then, so the only working out that I was doing was either going for a run or doing Nintendo Ring Fit at home.
Inputting all of those regular occurring tasks, starting with lunchtime.
I still
there we go.
add lunchtime.
Now, I like to put lunch in my personal calendar. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about my calendars. So that's going in every weekday. So I have my...
Lunch has gone in on a Friday as well. So clearly I'm still working Fridays. How much time am I going to have to play with here? Like, how much extra hours of possible working time did I have then than I do now? Wow. I've made my choices. I do not regret having a child.
Right. Lunch is in. What else do we have as repeating tasks? So I work out every other day, and this week it will be starting on a Monday. Yeah. So we put that in, and I put it in for an hour and a half. I do not work out for an hour and a half, but that extra half an hour is me like getting ready after working out. It repeats on, oh my God, how do I do this? Repeat every
Come on, honey, you can do it.
days. Hold on, save. Fantastic, this is looking good.
Okay, so I am working out 8 till 9:30. That's including showering and getting ready afterwards, but my God. I mean, the time that I'm starting work after a workout is similar to now, because I get back from dropping my toddler off at his childminders around 9:30. I just have spent that entire morning parenting and doing the childcare run rather than working out. And then on non-workout days, I would have started work even earlier. What time would I have started work at 8? No, but I do work from home, so I could have done. What was I doing back then?
As a repeated task in my calendar is my videos and like when they go live. So I like to have it in my calendar so that I am like ready on social media to do all the posting, and also I can like be available in the comments for the next hour. Now, sometimes I do have other stuff going on during that hour, but I still like to put it in my calendar so that I'm just aware that that is the first hour that a video is live, and to kind of dip in and out of checking on the video, basically. So videos go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we put
Not anymore.
This goes in, get stuff done, and it repeats every Tuesday and Thursday. Yes, I think that'll do it. Boom!
The difference here is that I only have the one YouTube channel now, so I only have one video going out a week, and that goes out at 12 p.m. noon on a Wednesday, and it's a premiere. So I actually put this in my calendar as a whole like event thing, because obviously I want to be there during the live premiere in the chat and like chatting with everyone and stuff, whilst I also eat my lunch. We multitask here. The main reason why I changed the time of my video upload, even though like to optimize the success of videos, it makes more sense for me to post them later in the evening because that's when more people are online. As you can see, even before I had kids, I would still do my uploads as late as possible in the working day so that I could be like switched on and in work mode doing it, but still like in the evening. But I didn't want to be uploading videos at like 8 p.m. on a Sunday, which, you know, is meant to be a really great time to upload. But I was like, I do not want to be working then. No, thank you. And now I've made it even earlier, and I've made my uploads a lunchtime thing, because I would find that a 4 p.m. upload, and then by 4:30 I'm like getting ready to leave to go get my kid from his childminders. I just then was like trying to respond to comments whilst walking along the street, and that is not what I want. So the video goes out earlier now.
I tend to record videos every Tuesday morning. That has been the routine that I've been getting into lockdown.
That routine has stayed. I didn't realise that was a lockdown routine that started. I actually remember Tuesdays used to be the day that I couldn't film, because pre-lockdown, it was the one day a week that my husband worked from home. So I couldn't film Tuesdays. And then for some reason during lockdown, clearly I picked Tuesday as my filming day. And here we are. I'm filming this on a Tuesday morning. The Tuesday morning filming block has stuck. It has stood the test of time.
That we put in filming, and I kind of just do it up until lunchtime. I give myself 3 hours to film whatever I need to film, and this is going to repeat weekly on Tuesdays. Boing! And then the other thing that I like to put in as a weekly thing, but it does sometimes get moved around, is my IC classes. So IC is the Institute for Sexuality, Education and Enlightenment, which is where I'm doing my certification course.
She was training to be a sex educator, baby Hannah. 4 years later, you quit, honey. But I did get my certification. She is certified. And I'm pretty sure I handed in my last essay like 3 weeks before Rowan was born. Got that certification, had a baby.
A whole bunch of online webinars that I need to make my way through. So I like to put it on my calendar so that I have a time that I'm doing it. If it isn't on the calendar, I will not do those webinars. So that I like to do every Wednesday morning.
Smart.
So we put IC. Okay, so those are my repeated tasks. So this is kind of what a blank week looks like for me. This is my blank week. Now we put in the things that are like my meetings and events and stuff that is already populated. Like this is stuff that has already been scheduled and planned. So the first thing is that on Monday at 4 p.m. there is a Patreon no, that's not how you spell it. Ambassador Roundtable. It is a paid ambassadorship for full transparency.
Not anymore. It was for like, this program that they ran was like a 6-month thing that was paid. It is not anymore.
But I talk about Patreon a whole bunch because I love it. And yeah, we will get onto some more Patreon stuff that I need to populate this week with as well. So the next thing is that every Wednesday, IC has a thing called Webinar Wednesday, where current students will like do a practice, like presenting some research or like something to do with their work. So I just make sure that that is in my calendar every Wednesday. I don't always make it, I'm not always available at that time, but I make sure that it is in my calendar every Wednesday so that I don't like accidentally book myself. But you know, if it can't be helped, it can't be helped.
My equivalent of this now is like business and like coaching related commitments. So the place that I did like a week-long coaching course with have a monthly learning lab, and so I try to go to as many of those as possible. Like the tickets are cheaper if you're like technically an alumni, and so that's good for like continued learning. And then there's also this like local business networking group that I'm a part of that have monthly meetups too. So that's kind of like the equivalent of what's going on here, like my learnings, my personal professional developments that still end up in the calendar.
And this week there is a special event Wednesday evening, which is the Menstrual Activism Meetup, which is being hosted by Bloody Good Period, and there'll be like lots of menstrual activists on Zoom together, which I'm really looking forward to. That is it. I told you, it's not very busy at the moment, so that is like my stuff that is scheduled in that are actual appointments.
I could never schedule something in 7 till 8 p.m. nowadays. That is bedtime. If I were to actually like calendar block my personal life, like morning and evening routine as well, like 7 till 8 p.m. would be like blocked out. Like that is bedtime for my child, not my bedtime. Although sometimes, depending on how tired I am. So nothing is allowed to happen in those hours.
Next, what happens is I look at my to-do list and then we populate this situation. So obviously I don't always do this like all at once. It just kind of like happens as stuff gets added to my to-do list. I still use Todoist as my to-do list.
I still use Todoist, and I have a sneaky feeling that this was filmed before I learned about the Google Calendar and Todoist integration. So that has made this whole process a whole lot easier for me. We're about to see me manually add tasks in. What a rookie. What a rookie.
As stuff comes in and as I know that I need to do stuff, it just populates in the to-do list, and I still like being able to tick stuff off. But when I'm planning a week, I will look at my Todoist and then I will like put it in the calendar accordingly. So on Mondays, I usually have a bunch of like admin to do, like whatever emails are left over from last week that I couldn't be bothered dealing with on a Friday, because who can be bothered with emails on a Friday?
Not me. I literally have in my email signature these days, I do not work after 4:30 and I don't work Fridays. Like that is in my email signature, just to manage everyone's expectations. Also, I very much do things the opposite way around now. So in this instance, I have everything in my Todoist, like on my to-do list, and then I look at that and I use that to populate the calendar. Whereas now, when like a task comes in, when I realize that there's something that I need to do, I actually go to my calendar first and I go, right, when can I do this? And I put it in my calendar first, and then that syncs to the to-do list app. Because same as past baby Hannah, I still like to tick things off on the app. Love it.
I have that week's video and podcast to schedule on Patreon. So I don't always like to have an admin morning on a Monday, but that is what is happening this week. So we pop that in. We're having an admin morning just to like clear all of that shit before we get started on the good stuff.
So yes, I'm remembering now. I used to put in my calendar like specific time for admin and emails. And I feel like baby Hannah's going to talk about the whole email thing, but I do not do that anymore. I mean, I still do my admin and emails, but I don't put it on the calendar anymore. Should I take a leaf out of baby Hannah's book again? I don't know.
Next up, one thing that I always like to make sure that I do on a Monday is prep the next day's videos that I'm going to film. Now, often they're like planned way in advance, but I just like to make sure that I've got all of my ducks in a row so that nothing shocks me when I come to sit down and record the next day. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't plan that. Like, what am I meant to be saying here?
That's really funny. But today is the day that I'm watching that, because generally that is true. I still do have like prep video as a Monday task if I am filming on the Tuesday, but I'm filming this in the new year and I thought I had prepped more videos at the end of last year than I actually had. So I was meant to actually be filming another video after filming this one, but I realized that I'm entirely not prepped for it. So I'm having to film it another time, because for some reason my brain tricked me into thinking that that video was already prepared. It was not. It's not ready to film. So thank you, past Hannah, for calling me out on that mistake this morning. It's fine. It's fine.
So I just like to make sure that I do some video prep. And so that's going in right after the admin. Maybe that'll take a bit longer. I'm not going to bother filling out that half an hour before lunch. But basically it's going to be a morning of admin and video prep. Then the afternoon is much more fun because we're doing some video planning.
Ooh.
What's the difference between video planning and video prep, Hannah? Good question. So in my head, video prep is like last minute getting all your ducks in a row before filming. Video planning is like, okay, what's the schedule going to be like for the next month? Let's like move shit around in the content calendar schedule and make sure that we know when we're filming and like what do we need to have prepared before we film. Is there anything that has to happen before that? What research needs to be done? When do I have time to do said research? That's probably going to be like 2 hours.
I very much organise things the same way in my head now. So clearly not a lot has changed. I still have my like prep videos, last minute, check everything is good. And then video planning is a monthly recurring task in my calendar that is like a 2-3 hour block. And that is the like going through the ideas list and like figuring things out in terms of like what the next videos are going to be, figuring out the schedule of when I can film things. So that clearly still works.
It's also the day that my editor gets to me the first edit for the More Hannah, this channel, YouTube video. That wasn't a sentence.
Yeah.
And so later in the afternoon this day, I will need to do some video feedback. So watching the video and sending her over some notes. So that usually takes me about an hour.
I'd completely forgotten that we basically had like an edit schedule. Like we're much more ad hoc now because yes, I have my like Tuesdays filming, but a lot of the videos that I make for this channel are more like long-term vlog based. So it's not as strict as More Hannah video edits come in on a Monday and then the Hannah Witton channel video edits come in on a Thursday. So I don't have like video feedback as like a regular task weekly in that sense. It's actually more ad hoc and like specific to what videos we are in the process of making. So that's an interesting little change.
Guess what? That is Monday. What a great day to start the week. So on Tuesday, I have 2 videos that I need to film. And so I actually like to put them in here because sometimes I've got 1 video to film, other times 2, other times 3.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I would film 3 videos on a Tuesday morning. I don't remember the last time that happened. Maybe like Vlognica 2023. But like this morning, for instance, I planned on filming 2. I'm now filming 1. And you know what? That's probably for the best because I was late starting this morning because lots of reasons. I won't bore you. But these days, the idea of filming 3 videos in one morning, I'm just like, no, I could never.
On the kind of video, I know if it's going to be one that will take me an hour or like a bit more, a bit less. I would say on average, it takes me 1 hour to film a video. But I like to make sure, check what the video is and see if I can basically get all of the videos that I want to get done that day in this 3-hour block. So
I like to think that videos still take me on average an hour to film, but I think that is kind of hopeful and delusional of me. I think including setting up and packing down, which is why I do like to film more than one, because obviously now I'm going to have to do that all again when I film this next one on a different day. But I do think that they take me over an hour now, because sometimes just the footage themselves can be like 40 minutes to an hour. How does this happen? Like, it's not an intentional choice that I'm making. It's like the culture of YouTube itself, the viewing habits of the platform, but then also like the algorithm on the platform. Also, I just can't seem to shut up anymore. And so the videos are getting longer and longer. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Is to film a video about the difference between sexual desire, arousal, attraction, and orientation. So we just pop that in here. Sexual desire, attraction, arousal. Doesn't have to like actually make any sense. I just have to know like what the hell that means. So that's one that we're filming, and then the other one that I'm filming is all my yellow clothes, because I just thought that would be silly and fun. Look at that next week. There we go. So 2 videos filming on Tuesday, but I'm still giving myself that entire morning to do that.
And then they're like, oh, my yellow clothes. Like, that is why I split the YouTube channels. That is why I created a second channel.
Got on this day yet is any admin. So if I don't have time for doing admin, like email stuff in the morning, then I always pop it in after lunch. And I'm actually just gonna pop it in for like half an hour after lunch and hope that that is like enough, because I did the admin, like an hour of it on Monday. So we will see. That might change. Then on Tuesdays, I record my podcast intro. So we record podcast.
I did. That was a
To
weekly thing.
people. And I give myself a full hour for that, because basically I look back over on all of my notes that I made whilst recording that episode, which could have happened like months before I'm recording this intro. I look over my notes and I write a script for my intro, and then I record it. It maybe actually takes more like half an hour, but I still like to give myself a full hour to do it. Don't know why. Maybe I should start being a bit stricter with myself.
No, don't be more stricter with yourself. I think it's really smart to block out like longer than you think you need sometimes, because you need the buffer room at the beginning and the end of a task, of like settling into a task, doing it, and then kind of like coming out of it and reorienting yourself into like whatever you're going to do next. Like, I believe in that buffer time. Very necessary.
Is my newsletter. So this week there will be a newsletter coming out on the Friday and Tuesday.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm putting Right newsletter on this day as well. I'm like stressed out by how much I'm doing.
Is the day that I write my newsletter. And so that's going in, and I would say it takes me about an hour and a half. I will just basically give myself all of that time until the video is live to write that newsletter. And guess what? That's Tuesday.
Was this when I was doing weekly newsletters? Because basically during lockdowns, it was like, got more time. I guess I'll do newsletters weekly now. We're back to monthly. But wow. But I was still quite disciplined with my time, because even on a non-workout day, I have scheduled in work from 9 to 5. And nowadays it's more like 10 to 4. But still, like, I'm not like doing much planning on like working late. Like I still, back then, I really tried to not do that.
9 till 5. Wednesday is going to be a bit different than my normal Wednesdays, because on the Tuesday, on the 16th, is when the bookmarks for my Patreon special offer are meant to arrive. And the envelopes should have all arrived by then as well.
I was like, what's this big reveal? What's the different thing that's happening? Okay, well, now I can just predict that the rest of this week is just going to be filled with like multiple hour-long chunks of packaging up all of those bookmarks for patrons. Because when we do a special offer, oh boy, it's a lot. And actually the last one that we did, because since having Rowan, I was like, I cannot do this. And we did some stickers. My assistant Moog stepped up and did all of the packaging and posting. It is a time-consuming task. Let's see how much time I scheduled in it for this week. But also I very much remember Dan helping me in the evenings and weekends a lot with this task as well.
From Wednesday, I'm going to start packaging up all of the bookmarks into the envelopes and writing out everyone's addresses. There's like 840 that I need to do, and this is something that I know takes me a long time, but I actually don't know how long it's going to take me.
I don't know how long.
I'm just going to put it in for all of Wednesday afternoon. The common room bookmark.
I should have timed it all the way back in 2021. I should have timed it to know how long it actually took me.
All of Wednesday afternoon, basically. Blink. And then there'll probably be bits of admin that I need to do during the day that I can just like take half an hour break from doing the bookmark and sort out that stuff. And then obviously we got those events in the evening. And then Thursday. So this week I'm actually doing the show notes and the transcript for the podcast that will be coming out next week. This is something that my assistant normally does, but she can't do it this week, so it is on me. So I need to make sure that that is scheduled.
The other thing that has changed is Moog's pronouns, they, them. Big announcement. Okay, podcast taking time as well. Let's do it.
Now I did one of the transcripts and it took me like 3 hours to do the transcript, but then obviously I'm doing the show notes on top of that, so I want to give myself a real good amount of time to make sure that this gets done. So I'm giving myself all of Thursday morning. But then in the afternoon, I'm going to continue with doing the bookmark because I will need to change it up just for my brain. So that's going in there. So next, I think Friday morning, I'm going to continue with the transcript and the show notes.
Wow, working Fridays.
Then what I'm actually going to do is I like to make sure that we just do that admin on the Friday. I know I said that I don't like to do emails on a Friday afternoon. When I say admin, I'm not replying to those emails. I'm just kind of like sorting them and moving them around so that come Monday morning, I'm ready. Obviously, if there's anything urgent that I do need to respond to, then I can make sure it's done before the end of the week. But otherwise, not important, can wait until Monday.
I'm also very much like a scheduler when it comes to emails these days. So like, say if this were me now, I would be doing some of those emails, but then I would send them for Monday because no one wants to receive an email on a Friday afternoon. And I don't want to receive a reply to that email. So Monday morning.
Leave it there for this week. Like I said, it's not super busy for me at the moment. And
past Hannah, baby Hannah, has just done this weekly calendar blocking. And granted, there's like huge amounts of time spent that's going to be like packaging up bookmarks and stuff. But this is a quiet time for me. Then. My God.
Rather than shoving extra work in for me to do on Friday afternoon, I'm going to leave it empty and basically kind of like see where I'm at with the transcript and show notes, and also see how many envelopes addresses that I have written out. And
leaving the Friday afternoon empty, that was not like a strategy that I had at the time. It wasn't like a recurring thing, but baby Hannah was onto something that I regularly do now, which is try and leave my Thursday afternoons open, unscheduled, so that I can fill that with things that come up or things that need to get bumped, rather than feeling like I am completely at capacity and have no wiggle room in my schedule.
Maybe I'll continue with doing the Patreon stuff Friday afternoon. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll continue doing that next week. But as long as the transcript and show notes are done, that is like the main thing that I need to make sure is done by the end of the week. As long as that is done, I am happy to give myself Friday afternoon off. So I'm just going to leave it blank.
Take that Friday afternoon off. Right, what's happening here?
Hello, Hannah from the future here. As I mentioned, you need a digital calendar because you gotta be flexible, and this is just proof of it. So I filmed this video a week ago, and now, as you can see from this calendar, it is Monday afternoon, evening time, and it looks a little bit different. And there's also a few things that I forgot. So the first thing that I completely forgot was that Tuesday evening is my Patreon live stream. So obviously that is an event in my calendar at 8 p.m. tomorrow for me.
So here, future past Hannah is just explaining like changes that have happened again because things have cropped up. So there's like things that I'd forgotten. There's like meetings that have come up that needed to get put in, yada, yada, yada. But I've still managed to keep that Friday afternoon open, and then there's some extra bits that have come in as well, and I've also seemed to have committed to starting work at 8 a.m. on the Thursday so that I get everything done. Okay, so I went forwards in my calendar because I wanted to find what a blank week looks like in terms of like my recurring tasks that you can see, and it just looks so much emptier. All of this is weekly other than analytics, which is monthly or I think fortnightly, that me and Moog do together. And then actually usually what I do on an analytics day is I then spend the afternoon doing video planning, because it helps that it's all fresh, because Moog and I will have just discussed like how well videos performed, what did well, what didn't, and we'll chat about like upcoming video ideas and things, and then I will go away in the afternoon and then do all of my scheming. So then this is what next week currently looks like, which honestly, actually very empty, very quiet. But the main difference is that I do not schedule things in until 10 a.m. I do not work Fridays. I'm going to my friend Lena's book event on Monday evening, so Dan is doing pickup. We have a joint calendar now. Like, this is a whole new calendar that didn't exist before. There's also a whole other calendar that I'm not showing on here currently that is the kid calendar that is also shared. So Dan and I have a calendar that's like for our stuff that is shared between us, and then we also have a separate calendar that is like all of our kids' stuff that is shared between us too. But currently next week I've just got some video reviews to do, some video planning. I'm actually not doing any filming next week because I've only got the one YouTube channel now, and I often try and block film like 2 videos in 1 week, and then also I'm doing some videos that are like more vloggy. It means I don't actually have to film every single week. We've got the Learning Lab, one of those like coaching things. This CAP virtual meetup is the Patreon ambassador virtual meetup that I usually can't attend, again because I said time zones, but grandma is visiting, whoop, whoop, which means that she can look after Ro whilst I'm doing that. I've got one client call next week, and that's it at the moment. The last 2 weeks for me have been quite full on, and I've been ill, which hasn't been good. Like, I've started this year with a lot of deadlines, and also a travel thing for work has come up, and so it's really nice actually looking at this week after all those deadlines and after the travel. I'm like, oh, that is in my future, and that looks like a nice calm week. And all of that blank space in the afternoons that week, to me what that symbolizes is time to spend on like learning and projects. So rather than like the itty bitty tasks that are like the continuation of things like video feedback and filming and prepping videos and all of that kind of stuff, like this is where I can be like, okay, business planning, working on the business. Okay, actually need to make some website changes. Like, what are we doing with that? Like all of those like big things that you feel like you need to be working on that are constantly getting pushed back, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm actually going to have some brain space and breathing room to figure those things out. So that's quite nice, actually, looking at that week. Am I saying all of this because actually my instinct in looking at that week is, Hannah, you're really lazy and what are you even doing? You barely work. And so I'm having to say all of that to be like, no, reframe. This is actually a good thing. This is an opportunity to either rest because I'm currently trying to work through sickness, which is not good, or to do that kind of like future planning kind of work. For me, I feel like the main changes are just like how much less time I have. But I do think that I maintain having some of the same like strategies and values in terms of how I spend that time, even though the actual amount of time that I have has changed quite dramatically. I feel like the only real difference in the how I use the time that I have has changed is putting in like admin and emails as a task on the calendar. And the reason why I did that back then was because I was a chronic have your email tab open all of the time, no matter what other work you're doing, even if you're trying to like concentrate on something else. And then I would see an email come in and it would immediately distract me and I would have to deal with that. So the reason why I would put it as like set times on my calendar was to stop myself from doing that. I was like, I've identified a problem, here is the solution. Whereas now it's not really a problem anymore. By having that solution and having it in my calendar like that for a good amount of time, it's like I retrained myself basically. So I kind of do the, okay, now is going to be email time, now is going to be admin time without having to put it on my calendar. So I kind of do that if I've finished a task and I've got a bit of time before I do the next thing, or I finished a task a bit earlier, or there's some space in the calendar. So that's quite good. I'm quite proud of myself in that sense. So I'm like still doing the same principles, but then I don't have to like fill my calendar with it. Yes, sometimes the downside of it is that there's quite a lot of admin and emails to deal with, and then I somehow haven't like actually accommodated for that in my schedule. But that very, very rarely happens. I think especially like post-lockdown, post-motherhood, and post-quitting half of my job, I just have less emails and admin to deal with. And so I think that is also a big part of why I don't need to put it on the calendar as much. Like my emails and my admin responsibilities are a lot calmer. There is a part of me that doesn't like that because I remember like at my peak of like YouTube fame or relevance or whatever you want to call it, like opportunities galore coming into the inbox. Every email was so exciting, was a new opportunity, money, fun thing to do, like a really cool project. Like it was a very exciting time to be my email inbox back in like 2018. Whereas now it is very different. It's a lot quieter. And that is the season of life that I'm in. Like I definitely have like, you know, ridden the YouTube wave and we're on the other side now. But you never know what's going to happen in the future. But you know what? I remember being at like the height of all of that and being terrified of like fading into obscurity and being like an irrelevant YouTuber. This is an entirely different topic. I've gone so off topic, but it is relevant to the emails thing. And I used to get really scared, like looking at stories of like YouTubers who'd become irrelevant and like how and why that happened. And so if anything, past Hannah was talking to me just then, and I want to talk to past Hannah in terms of like, hey, I'm on the other side of it and actually I'm having a great time. And even though there are less opportunities coming into my inbox, it means that I spend less time doing emails. And that's great. And you have a beautiful child. I honestly went into this video thinking that it was going to be this like frivolous, like, oh, this is how I calendar blocked then and this is how I do it now. But actually, like, to me, maybe I'm making meaning here that doesn't exist, but I do feel it, which is that it kind of symbolizes like these two completely different stages of my life in terms of my personal life and my work life. And there is a part of me now that like mourns that and is like, oh, I wish I could get that back, that freedom, the amount of time that I had, the money, the opportunities. And so there is a part of me that's like, oh wow, yeah, things are really different, and sometimes that can be hard to accept. But of course, there are all of the incredible and good things that come from being in the stage of life that I'm currently in. Obviously, not being able to rest when you're sick is really hard as a working parent. But anyway, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say here, other than I thought I was coming for some color coordinated calendars, and I've come out having a like existential nostalgia emotional moment. Oh dear. And you know what? I think that is a nice place to leave it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm always really curious if calendar blocking is something that you do and how you do it, if you do it similar or different to me. But also now I'm interested in what was your life like 4 years ago and what is it like now? And how do you feel when you're kind of confronted with a bit of the reality check of like, oh my God, that's what I was doing back then. That's what my life was like. And now it's like this. You know, let's share. That's where this video's unexpectedly gone. But thank you so much for watching. Also, let me know in the comments any similar videos, if you've got any other questions or things around all of these different topics that we've talked about here that you would want to see from me. Massive thank you to the Common Room, who are my patrons who support me and help make these videos possible. And we have an amazing, lovely community over in our Discord server and do all sorts of fun things together, like a book club. And don't forget to subscribe, because again, superficially, I just want to hit 100k on this YouTube channel. Like, what can I say? But statistically speaking, if you are at the end of this video watching this, you're probably already subscribed, and subscribers don't even matter. It's fine. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.